Phil Robertson, a man of the wild, a man of faith, and a man who built an empire with a duck call. Born on April 24, 1946 in the small town of Vivian, Louisiana, Phil grew up in poverty as one of 7 children. The Robertson family lived without electricity or plumbing, but they had something more important: grit, love, and an unbreakable bond with nature. As a young man, Phil was a star athlete. At Louisiana Tech University, he played quarterback ahead of future NFL legend Terry Bradshaw. But Phil had no interest in fame or fortune on the football field. He gave it all up, for the woods, the water, and the ducks. In 1973, Phil turned his love for hunting into a business, founding Duck Commander. With a passion for realism and craftsmanship, he invented a duck call that sounded just like the real thing. Hunters took notice, the company grew, and so did the legend of Phil Robertson. But Phil's life wasn't always straight and narrow. In his younger years, he struggled with alcohol and wild living. It nearly cost him everything: his marriage, his family, and his soul. Then, everything changed. Phil gave his life to Christ. He turned his back on his old ways and began preaching the Word of God. His faith became the foundation of everything he did, in business, in family, and in life. In 2012, the Robertson family burst onto national television with Duck Dynasty. The show was a cultural phenomenon. Viewers were drawn to the bearded family's humor, values, and prayers at the dinner table. Phil, the wise, no-nonsense patriarch, became a household name. But Phil never compromised his beliefs. In 2013, he faced backlash for sharing his religious views in a magazine interview. Andy briefly suspended him, but the outcry from fans brought him back. Phil stood firm. He wasn't chasing popularity, he was standing for truth. Beyond television, Phil became a Christian speaker, a podcast host, and a best-selling author. He wrote books like "And," blending personal stories with powerful messages of faith and freedom. In 2023, Phil's story hit the big screen with the film, a raw and moving portrayal of his early struggles and redemption through Christ. Phil Robertson was more than a TV star. He was a devoted husband, a father of 4, a grandfather, a preacher, and a conservative voice in American culture. He built a legacy rooted in God, family, and the great outdoors. On May 25, 2025, Phil passed away at the age of 79 after a battle with Alzheimer's and other health issues. He died surrounded by family, just as he had lived. His final years were quieter, but his impact never faded. He leaves behind a legacy of faith, resilience, and the simple truth that a man with God is never alone. Phil Robertson, the Duck Commander, the man who called ducks, and called people to something higher. He's gone from this world, but his voice still echoes in the woods, in our hearts, and in the faith he never stopped sharing. Rest in peace, Phil, you've gone home.